Hey, thanks for stopping by. For this video, I want to show what I've learned about the Nightfarers ultimate arts and how their damage scale to their rune levels and stats. So, to get the obvious out the way, every Nightfarers ultimate damage is affected by their rune levels. So a Nightfarers ult will do more damage at level 15 than it would at 14, and so on. But the question that would follow is, are their ultimate arts affected by the character's stats? So, things like their strength, intelligence, dexterity, and so on. So I actually did test every Nightfarer, and I changed every possible stat I could. I tested for vigor, mind, endurance, strength, dex, intelligence, faith, arcane, and even poise. And I found that none of the stats impacted the damage of the character's ults, except for two Nightfarers, and you probably know who based on the thumbnail or the video title. First, we're going to start with Ironeye. So, as you can see, he's level 15, and when you do his ultimate, it does 509 damage, and you can see I have no relics equipped. Okay, and now you can see I'm level 15, and I have his improved vigor and strength equipped, and now the ultimate does 582 damage. And also, just to show, I'm also at level 15 again, and I do have his relic that decreases his dexterity, and as you can see here, it does 499 damage. So it does less than it would without his stat change. Now, Undertaker, and as you can see, we're level 15 with her. Absolutely no relics equipped, and her ultimate does 599 damage. Okay, and as you can see, we're level 15 again, and we have her dexterity relic, which doesn't affect her strength, so it just improves her dexterity. So we're going to see here that her ultimate now does 656 damage. Okay, and we're at level 15 again. This time we have her mind and faith respec, which does reduce her strength. So you can see here, it now only does 526 damage. And I also want to show, just in case maybe there's something funny going on with the stat respec relics. You can see here that the only thing I have here is just a relic that has the demeritus to reduce her strength and intelligence, and there's nothing else. There's nothing that would affect the damage of her ult. So we've already established that at level 15 her ult does 599. So here we go. It now does 586. So anything that changes her her strength or dexterity will affect her ultimate in the positive or negative. And just for good measures, I will show one Nightfarer just to show that their stats don't normally affect it. So this is just while they're, I'm not going to show every single Nightfarer, but as you can see, at level 15, his ultimate fully charged does 730. That's with no relics equipped. And as you can see, we now have his intelligence and faith relic equipped. His strength and dex is reduced, and his ultimate still just does 730. So for Wilder, you can see his stats does not affect his levels. And again, you can test this out in the sparring ground. Every other character except for Ironeye and Undertaker behaves the same way. Their stats do not change their ultimate's damage normally. So the takeaway from this is that for Ironeye, his Strength Relic gives a pretty massive boost in damage to his ult. If my math is correct, it's around a 14% boost. His Arcane Respec causes a pretty minor decrease of only about 2 to 3%, so it's pretty safe to use, if you're worried about affecting his ultimate's damage. But for Undertaker, while her Dex Respec does give a large boost of about 12%, her Faith Respec causes a decrease of almost 10%, so that's a pretty massive drop in damage if you use her Faith Respec effect. I'm not sure why only these two Nightfarers ultimates are this way. Maybe for Ironeye, it could be some kind of oversight during the game's development that never got changed when the game came out. But Undertaker came out in the DLC 6 months later, so I don't know what to think of that. For Undertaker, it could have been done this way for some kind of balancing, just because she can spam her ult way more because of her passive, so maybe they didn't want her to be too good with the Faith Respec Relic or something. Though her Dex Relic makes her ult do a lot of damage too, so who knows. But for Ironeye, I mean, maybe it's a balancing decision, but his Strength Relic still gives him a massive damage boost, and his Arcane Respec really doesn't give him that much of a penalty, so I'm not really sure how that would be balancing anything. That's all for now. Did you know this about Ironeye and Undertaker? Let me know in the comments below if you learned something, or if there's anything that I might have missed about these two regarding their ultimates and their stats. Thanks for watching.